The views and opinions expressed on Slam Radio PH are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of Wusa Studios, its management, other hosts, or advertisers. The shows produced by Wusa Studios can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and might include strong themes, images, sex, or language that may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, welcome to Slam Radio PH. My name is Aaron Atayde, the managing editor for SlamOnlinePH.com. To my right, Mr. Nico Ramos, the man that will start a movement very, very soon in regards to Carmelo Anthony. And then all the way to my far right, fresh from Bali, went to go look for some Asian chicks. Ended up with some Asian sickness. Mr. Robbie Raya, back on the show.
Yeah.
Yes. Shots will be fired, to say the least. Welcome
These
back,
are
Robbie.
loaded. These are loaded today.
You got the guns ready?
Nag-waits ako kagabi para lang dito.
Welcome to the show. We have a packed show for you guys today. Lots and lots and lots to talk about, as this will be our preview for the upcoming season of the PBA, but mostly towards the Philippine Cup, where it will be all Filipino. But first, it's time to shout a shout-out. Something that we're going to be doing on the show. You guys can call us up and shout a shout-out as well. 631-2264 is the number to dial. This is where the three of us, or whoever here is on the show, will have a chance to give a little shout-out to anyone in the basketball world. I mean, whether it's something that they're doing right, something that they're doing wrong, or whatever, okay? First, I would like to shout a shout-out to the LaSalle Green Hills Greenies. Yeah!
Kobe, 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 Kobe.
Not your Kobe. My Kobe. Not your Kobe either. You have no Kobe. I have a Kobe.
Can he still go to UP?
So, Prince.
No.
Good job, Prince.
Yeah, MVP.
It's my boy.
MVP.
Prince.
Prince Rivero. Of course, we're talking about the boys from LaSalle Green Hills that worked their way up the step ladder and to make it all the way to the NCAA Juniors Finals. Finally. Finals for everyone. The NCAA is coming to a close. Hey, look at that. Who would have thought? Okay, that's my shout out this week. The LaSalle Green Hills boys, Prince Rivero, Kobe Paras, and the rest of the guys. Congratulations! Boom, making my alma mater proud. Okay, shout out, Nico.
I want to shout out to Coach Shot and the Gilas team pulling together 100,000 pesos and being there at the telethon, helping people out, everyone that got struck by Yolanda. The best thing that the three of us can really give people is hopefully to make them laugh, and hopefully we're able to do that here on the podcast. But to everyone down south who's ever seen our podcast or heard it before, we're praying for you, we're pulling for you, and good job to the Gilas boys for leading by example once again. And hopefully we can all do our part.
And even the NBA and the NBPA.
Yeah.
$250,000. I mean, that's
huge.
That's a lot of money. Mr. Robbie Raya, who is your shout out this week?
I want to shout out to the Miami Heat fans. Actually, Jeff Green tweeted me in this phone. Look at it. It's very high-tech phone.
Yeah.
He said he wants to say hi to the Miami Heat fans in the Philippines who are Laker fans and Warrior fans and Clipper fans at the same time.
Except they don't make it to the games early enough and they leave too early on.
Okay. So it's a shout out to the bandwagon fans of the NBA. Not saying that all Miami fans are bandwagon fans.
That's redundant.
That's not what
redundant.
I said.
You can't say bandwagon.
Well, 90%.
Heat fans. You just have to say Heat fans.
See, the thing is, you guys might know a lot of people that are Miami Heat fans. This is like one of the only shows that there's not one person that cheers for Miami.
No.
Not even
one.
one.
A lot of very talented, much more qualified people should be on the show, but they were Heat fans. Sorry.
That's what you get with Team B. Team B, baby. That's how we do it. All right, so there you go. If you guys want to shout a shout out as well, call us up. 631-2264. We're going to be doing that all throughout the show. Shout out and show some love, or if you want to drop some bombs as well, like Mr. Robbie Raya does, you can do the same thing. Okay, so right around the corner on Sunday, it will be the opening of the
Sunday!
Is he still on the team?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure
I
either.
hope so.
It will be the opening of the PBA Philippine Cup in 3 different cities. And before we head on into it, I think that this would be a perfect time to do this with what happened to our country with Yolanda.
Yeah.
I think that it's a great way to show that, you know, with basketball, everyone's going to be all like, yeah, Manila Clasico. And then we have a game in Cebu, you have a game in Davao, and you have a game in Manila. That's going to be fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's going to be cool.
Big chance for all of us to come together. And, you know, I mean, life goes on, obviously, for basketball, and the show goes on, but it's not without taking our eyes off of what happened there. And, you know, we're bringing basketball there. And it's hopefully, much like what we try to do here on the show, bring some entertainment, make some people smile, even if it's for just a couple of hours. That's going to be a huge thing for everybody down there. And it's also a great way for everyone to see just exactly how much of an effort the PBA is taking to make sure that it gets to help out.
There are going to be 3 games on tap. There will be the Manila Clasico to start out here in Metro Manila. Then you'll have the battle of the MVP teams in Meralco and Talketex playing in, I think that's going to be in Cebu. And then in Davao, it will be Rain or Shine taking on Alaska. We'll talk about those games in just a little bit, but let's go through all of the teams and see how they're going to be doing. So this means that everybody has a chance to take some shots, okay? Take your shots, folks. You can do the same thing. Let's get interesting first. Let's start at the bottom, and based on the last conference at the bottom was Air 21. No,
I think Global Port.
It was Global Port.
7 wins,
No,
31
Global Port.
losses.
Oh yeah. Okay.
In terms of overall record.
yeah. Okay, so let's start out with Global Port. Lots of new additions, including the removal of Jonel. Jonel.
I don't have shades on.
He's gone, dude. What are the hopes of this team? Revamped. Lots of trades went down. Lots of new picks. Robbie, we've been waiting for some shots, and here we go.
I have some doubts.
Some
doubts with this team.
Some lang.
My first doubt is I'm not entirely sure if this team is Barako Bull Team B.
So
by Barako Bull Team B, is this team another farm team?
Okay, just to raise a point, this is all because of a tweet that a good friend of the show, Chuck Araneta, had.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it was announced on the day, but it was brought up again that L.A. Revilla and 3 other second-round picks were traded for Global Port's first-round pick next season to Ginebra. Yes.
So it could be, there's a huge possibility that it could be Slaughter and Parks pairing in Ginebra by next season.
Kinilig lahat ng barangay. Buong
Oh,
barangay kinilig ngayon.
I mean, that's incredible.
Pero may nakita rin akong tweet that actually made sense. Kasi parang may utang daw.
Yeah.
May utang daw yung Global Port to the SMC group.
Yes.
Because Petron got Taha for
nothing.
Yeah.
For nothing.
So I don't know. It's just returning favors.
Yes. I mean, okay. First off, we talked about this last week. I don't know if you saw the show, but we talked about this last week, and we were dissecting the trades that went down. Barako only traded 1 pick to an SMC team. The rest were to Global Port. So, what does that mean, Mr. Robbie Ryan?
So, baka tama nga yung sinabi ko that these teams are connected. I mean, let's face it, yung mga PBA fans, they're thinking, Barako Bull, hawak yan sa leg ng SMC. Huwag na tayo magsinungaling. Alam na...
Wow, you're really...
Wow, man.
Wow.
You're really getting out of the gate already, huh?
PBA fans are not stupid. And yung if ever Barako Bull has a GM, baka nasa Hinebra yung GM nila. Kasi I really don't get, really didn't get their trades.
I love how we started talking about Global Port and we ended up already throwing shots at
yung
Barako.
GM ng Barako ngayon, I'm sure Miriam Defensor sa Tiago would do a better job.
Wow.
No, if you ask Miriam to question them about their trades, they will invoke the right.
Oh.
Hindi ko po alam.
Hindi ko po maalala.
Hindi ko po maalala. Ano ba yung utan mo sa SMC Group? Hindi ko po
Hindi ko
maalala.
pa
But let's talk about Global Port. I mean, okay, as a core, this team has now Justin Chua because they traded away Isaac Holstein. It was Chua and Nahorda for Holstein. So Chua, Raba?
No, Rabbi is with Meralco.
Yeah.
Sol, they have Terrence RR, L.A. Revilla, who is now under contract. Nico Salva is yet to sign a contract with Global Port. I don't know why. I don't know why he hasn't got a contract, but if you look at that lineup, very young, very fast, and a brand new coach with Richie Tixon.
The velvet touch. The velvet touch. You have to say it like that every time.
Oh, okay.
Every
Okay.
time you say Richie Six, the velvet touch.
Okay. How's this team gonna do, Nico?
Well, first of all, I'm happy for Richie Tixon for getting a head coaching nod. But I don't think they're in a win now situation.
No, definitely not.
Which kind of stings for us because we're all such big Saul fans, and you just keep waiting and waiting and waiting for Saul to be put in a position where he can be around guys that can help him win. But I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Global Port to eke out wins. They're small. They're fast. Richie Tixon says he wants to run, and they said that they'll take the transition 3 every chance they get, which to me really reflects a lot of how your head coach played when he was a player, because that's what he wanted to do when he was a player. And
Velvet touch.
the velvet touch. I think that Saul's going to put up monster numbers.
As always.
This conference.
Always.
I think that we're going to see a BPC level
Wow.
numbers. BPC level numbers from Saul. If they don't get the wins, he's going to get snubbed again. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough for them to get wins. I mean, just stack them up against Sandwich Coffee. Or stack them up against an all-Filipino Petron. It's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine them staying in there and hanging around for 4 full quarters.
Okay.
If ever there was a time that Sol and Jay, let's call him Sol and Jay.
Okay.
Sol and Jay.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Jay Wash.
Yeah, if ever there was a time that Sol and Jay would completely take over the league, it's this conference in the Philippine Cup. I mean, sila lang dalawa maghahati sa bola. And then you put in Terence Romeo. I'm gonna be generous, and I'm gonna generous.
Will you start Terrence?
Yes, because you have no choice. Are you gonna start JP Belancion? No. Are you gonna start R. Garcia? I'd rather start Terrence at the 2 spot, and Terrence is quite lucky that he's paired with Sol, because he's the biggest.
Yeah, he doesn't have
Guard.
to guard Sol.
Yes, Sol can guard 2 guards of,
Yes.
of the opposing teams. But I'm gonna generously predict that Sol and Jay would combine for 40 points per game.
Wow.
That's generous.
Yeah.
So, let's say PBA teams average around almost 90
90,
points per
yeah.
game in the Philippine Cup. So, where are you gonna get the next 50 points?
Let's say you get 12 from Terrence.
That's tough.
Di pa rin?
No. I think Terrence will at least, at the most, 10 points per game.
Okay. With that being said, it's a segment that we're going to be doing for this preview. This is the crystal ball time. Give me a bold prediction for Global Port.
Bold?
Something that, some bold prediction that your crystal ball really thinks is going to be. My question is, how many points will Terrence Romeo average at the end of the Philippine Cup?
At the end of the Philippine Cup. 9 points per game. 9.5 points per game.
9.5 per game. How many passes will he have?
0.
Wow. You can't do that in the PBA.
He can't.
You can't do that in the
Kung
PBA.
andyan yung mga katulad ni Mark Pingris, Bo Belga. Oh. Swerte siya, kakampi niya si Kelly Berry Nabo.
Yeah, hindi siya makikipag-away.
Hindi siya
doon.
matutuhod ng gano'n.
How many points?
I think Terrence translates to the PBA.
Wow.
I think he gets north of 10. My most generous is I'll give him 13.
Oh, that's exactly what I was thinking.
13.
Nice.
13 points per game. You have him off the bench. I mean, this guy's, all he's going to do is shoot. Saul's going to give him the ball. Saul is, even he's known to, very stubbornly give the ball to people, even if they can't make shots.
Yes.
And Saul will trust him, and he'll shoot. And yeah, I think he might be, I think he's going to be the top scoring rookie.
I think Terrence will average, just to make it a little bit more interesting, about 14 and a half. I think he'll have one game where he'll finish with like 27. But his field goal percentage will be...
Oh, he's going to have a horrendous field goal
35%.
I'm thinking in the 31% area. He's going to chuck up shots because he doesn't want anyone to hit him. As soon as somebody goes, he's going to be like, and he'll just throw out the ball. That's exactly how I see Terrence Romeo.
He's going to be a 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
In the PBA, at least to start.
Okay, you have 55 points between the three of them. So are you gonna get more points from the center spot na ang players lang si Chua, Nabong, John Dan, and Enrico. And then
Enrico.
and then at the small forward spot, you only have Leo Nahorda as your scorer. And pwede pang si Nico Salva if ever they sign him. But it's going to be really tough for this team to score.
Interesting.
It's going to be really tough for this team to score. And it's a team that's known to not play defense. So if you're not scoring and you're not playing defense...
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to raise the tempo, the pace of play, which is what they want to do, that's just pretty much saying that we can outscore anybody.
Yeah.
Because if you raise the tempo against Petron, good luck.
Yeah, they're not. They can score. That team knows how to score. All right, moving on. Air 21 Express, Coach Franz Pumarin's Green Archers. Kasama na nga tayo yung Pep squad eh. Na-draft din. Lots of additions to this team. The draft didn't really work out the way that they would have wanted it to go, but it's better than nothing. You get Eric Thompson, you get Joshua Webb, that's pretty much it. How does this team fare? Is this team at the bottom rung again? They have no Mike Cortez. They have Mac Cardona, Joseph Yo,
Canaleta.
Meyer Hoffer's in Barako.
Oh, yeah.
And he can't be traded to Air 21 because those two are sister teams.
You know what? I think Air 21 will be better than Barako and Global Port.
So you think that they're the 7th team in the league?
Yes. My only question with this team going into the Philippine Cup is they have such a huge hole at the point guard position.
Yeah, at point right now is
Winnie
and Simon. And Simon was the one that started.
And Franz.
Maybe Pamboy.
Yeah, they could probably bring back Dindo. They could try to bring back Dindo. It could work.
But from the two guard up to the center spot, they're pretty solid. Decent. You have Mac, KG,
Joseph,
and Asi.
Yeah, may Asi ka pa.
Meron ka pang Vic Manuel.
Yeah. Hey, and Global Port has Eric Mick. Just throwing that out there. I don't know if that means anything, but they have the Minks. Okay. Are they gonna make the playoffs? Will they be number 8? Will they be number 8 in Barako and Global Port will be number 10?
Yes. I think so. Air 21, yeah.
Okay.
I like Air 21 in the sense that, apart from that huge hole in the point guard spot, this doesn't give Coach Franz a lot of excuses left. Because this is a team full of players that he's coached to success before. And a lot of people make fun of, it's the Air 21 Green Archers. And it's for good reason. If you have success with a group of players and you have a chance to bring them all back and have them play for you, and they're, assuming they're better now than they were in college, and they've adjusted to the pro level, and you don't have to worry about transitioning them anymore, then why don't you go after those same players when coaching everybody else hasn't worked out for you? And then you have, the fact that they have Asi is a huge, it's a huge
Even if he's
thing.
almost 40, I don't know, he might be at 40 right now. He's still in better shape than a lot of people our age.
Even if Asi just gives you 10 and 9 a game, which is realistic. The fact that, Asi's not going to stand for these. You remember how Air 21 used to have 4-game losing streaks where they'd lose by 2 points, 1 point. They'd have turnovers in the last 30 seconds to give the game away. Asi's not going to stand for that. He's going to bring this team together, and they have a lot of fight in this team. Anytime you have Cardona on your team, maangas yung team mo.
Oo,
Anytime,
sure ball.
and then you have Yo, and then you have Sharma,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have
Tutukan yun.
and then you have Asi. This is gonna be a
And
tough
Webb.
team. And Webb and Winnie.
And Winnie.
This is gonna be a tough team. They're gonna be a bruising team, and I think they're gonna find ways to win.
Crystal ball time. At what point? Oh no, okay, here. Make a trade to bring T.Y. Tang to Air 21. I would trade second-round draft pick, 2 second-round draft picks for T.Y. Tang.
Pwede.
I would trade. I mean, if you're trading picks, let's try and trade a player that Yang would like.
Sharma? No?
He'd
Vic
go
Manuel,
he'd go for
hindi.
Vic Manuel.
Yeah.
Kaso, sobrang loaded na they
Ross
have
at
Ross
that
has
position.
many redundant positions.
Yeah.
Ng katulad ni redundant players na katulad ni Vic Manuel.
So you would probably go for...
You know what? If France is willing to let go of Renren, Yang might think about it. Because, I mean, Rain or Shine's a 3-point shooting team, but if there's something we learned last season, they go through spurts where their 3-point shooters can't shoot and can't make baskets.
I don't know.
But you have no more faith in Renren?
Look at him, look at him.
I mean, I
You
love
have no more faith in Renren.
I love Renren. I love Renren. I remember him making 9 3-pointers in the first half of one game with Air 21 before. But I've been waiting for like the past 3 years for Renren to have like a hot streak, like just stringing 2 3-pointers or 3-pointers in one game. But wala talaga eh. Parang
Hey, but I mean, if it's a way to unload a player like T.Y. Tang, because as of right now, they're still trying to find a way to get all 3 of their rookies on the roster. They already have to cut like 3 players because they're already fully loaded. So if you, let's say, hypothetically, that you cut, I mean, I love the guy, but if you cut John Oiloan,
Puta, ayoko na.
and you cut
Chito
Jaime, who's the last person that you cut to put in, Jeric Teng?
that's true. T.Y. Tang is pretty disposable because you have Chris Chu.
Yes.
But if I'm Rain or Shine, I'd go for like
Larry
for future draft picks, like in the future, like 2016 or 2017.
Something that I could use somewhere down the road that I don't really need to use it right now. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
All right. Do they? Air 21 makes the playoffs. That's what we got.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next up, oh yes, we already talked about them a little bit, but let's bring it up again. The Baraka Bull Energy Cola with all 35 players on their team. The Hunger Games tryouts are still ongoing. District 12, I believe, is still in the lead. Still trying to see if they're gonna eat the berries, but yeah, I think you have you have a problem with the recent cut.
Oh yeah. See, okay, this is what I said about Barako last week. I said that since there is no hard evidence that I have in my hands that proves that they're a farm team, I'm not gonna call them a farm team and give them the benefit of the doubt. But if they're not gonna call themselves a farm team, I'm gonna call themselves a horribly managed team, because that's
At the least.
At the least, okay. So, but I said that there's a chance for them to make it up to me by putting my man Mike Silungan on the lineup. But they cut Mike S. And therefore, I say, Barako will not perform well this season.
Because they don't have Mike S.
Because they don't. Alam niyo yung curse of the Bambino with
Yes.
the Yankees? They're going to have a curse of the Silungan. They're going to suck for like the next 3 years. Mostly because they lost all their chance to have a credible young talent as their core this year.
Yeah.
But specifically because they cut Mike Silungan.
Okay.
In fantasy, it's the curse of the Silungan. But
Yes.
in reality, it's curse of the SMC group.
Yeah, there we go.
In reality, it's them doing what they were created to do.
It's
I mean,
now Robbie time.
I don't know what kung meron pang kailangan sabihin eh. I know, it's so obvious, man. I don't have evidence, but in my book, I don't need to have no evidence. I can say anything I want. I don't need that evidence. Huh? I mean, yung evidence lang na kailangan tingnan are the trades, and the the past trades na the first na SMH talaga ako was the Maliksi trade. And then you have the Monfort trade.
Okay. Let's think of it this way, okay? In the NBA, there are so many horrible trades. As a Phoenix Suns fan, I have seen horrible trade after horrible trade. I mean,
you gave us Nash for nothing.
Exactly. We gave away Nash for nothing. We gave away Gortat for nothing. We gave away Amari for nothing. No, that was a sign and trade deal there that gave us trade exception that we did not use. I am used to seeing horrible trades all throughout my NBA life.
What did you give up for Barkley?
Nothing. We didn't get anything. Kurt Thomas. We traded Kurt Thomas and 2 first-round draft picks for trade exception. What the fuck was that? Okay? Now, does that make the Phoenix Suns team a farm team in the NBA?
But yung moves ng Phoenix Suns, they kind of have the future in mind.
No,
like,
they
but
didn't.
if you're going for trade exceptions, that's basically cash, right?
Uh-huh.
So parang you're trying to go under the
cap.
The cap. Sa PBA naman, may cap ba sa PBA? Meron cap dapat, pero sinusunod ba ng teams?
Okay, here's my question for you. The Suns do it because they have a cheap ass owner in
Yeah.
Robert
Yeah.
Sarver, who's trying to save money. Ideally, the Lina Group isn't the most, this is the wealthiest.
They're not the ones that make the most lucrative money.
So maybe a devil's advocate would say Barako didn't want Romeo and R because they didn't want to be paying max contracts for rookies for 5 years. So what
But
if
is
someone
it-
says
is
that?
But it's not like the Phoenix Suns are trading Joe Johnson type of players
They did.
in exchange for
They did. They traded
for
him
like
to-
Sasa Vujacic.
No, they traded they traded him for a second-round draft pick.
But that's a draft pick.
That ended up to be freaking who's that? Mikael Frage or something like that. Okay, I mean it happens.
Kasi
This shit
hindi,
happens.
they can't afford Joe Johnson na eh.
Exactly.
What if they
That's the
say
point.
Okay. This is my question for you guys. If you're Barako, would you trade Maliksi for not nothing? Wesley Gonzalez and Pacana.
Tangina, kakamping yan sa labas ng bahay mo. Tangina, susunod ka.
Hampasin ako nun.
Yeah.
No, right?
First of all, if I had to pay that kind of money, I wouldn't do it. I mean, again, it's the same way. There are big market teams and then there are small market teams. It's the same way that I mean, look at Brooklyn right now. Brooklyn can do so much bullcrap with their money because they have a lot of money. They can go, double the salary already and they're still fine. That's my thing. Again, until I see proof, it will still be the same way that I look at my Phoenix Suns, a really bad managed team.
Now, while privately I will agree with Robbie. I'm just poking the bull here.
Yeah.
Because it's fun.
It's
to see
fun,
Robbie
yeah.
go, I don't need evidence. But okay, so would you say that salaries aside, the fact that they tried to they avoided giving Maliksi, Romeo, Monfort, Garcia, max deals. That they're trying to make sure they run a team without having a max deal player.
Moneyball type.
Yeah. You would say that even throw that out the window, they would still be doing what they're doing now because they're farming.
Ito lang masasabi ko.
Say it.
You guys just,
Say it.
ito lang masasabi ko, you guys just convinced me that Barako Bull is not a farm team.
Okay.
Okay.
Sige, maniniwala na ako na veteran movement, yun na lang.
Okay.
Pero pagkatapos nitong podcast na to, mumurahin ko kayo.
Oh, God. Okay.
Kung alam nyo lang kung ano pinagsabi nitong dalawang ito kanina.
Will Barako Bull make the playoffs? No.
I hope not.
Crystal ball moment. How many trades will Barako Bull have in the All-Filipino Cup?
It depends kung may ma-develop silang player. If they develop...
But based on what you might see, based on what you see on the lineup, How many trades will Barako Bull have?
Sige, given na si Willie Miller, matatrade yan.
Oy, really?
He just got there.
Yeah,
But
but
still trade him, but they can't trade him back to Global Point.
Yeah,
That's
so,
it.
no, so you're saying that they got him there to trade him.
Actually, Willie Miller might be a good fit for Barako.
Manong Brigade. They
Kasi-
brought them all back.
Kunyari, let's say there are game scenarios na lamang yung kalaban ng 4 points or whatever. Tapos bigla nang titira ng ganun si Willie Miller. Pwede, diba? I mean...
Pwede yun.
Oh!
Good thing we brought down the volume on that one. Okay. How many trades?
I see them hashtag let Danny S go. I think
Really?
I see them
Pwede.
freeing Danny S. Because he still doesn't have a contract, diba?
Yeah.
At saka
Last time I
mapapakinabangan pa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Danny S to Petron.
Just for
old time's sake.
Yeah.
For me, I think Danny S would be a better fit with Ginebra.
No, because I mean, the way that I'm looking at it is that if you bring Danny S to Petron, then that means that what Junmar had with Lakay, Marshall Lutz can have with Danny S.
imagine if Lutz had a post game.
From Danny S?
From Danny S?
Puta! Solid. Okay, there you go. Moving on, the Meralco Bolts. Okay, wait, I want to admit something to you, okay? We were supposed to ask you about the Meralco Bolts and have you trash Gary David.
Why would I trash Gary David?
Because you're the type of person that would trash Gary David if I egged you on to trash Gary David. And then Gary was supposed to walk in, but they just canceled. They were called in.
They're called into the PBA office.
Shit.
Yeah, we were supposed to ask you questions like, is it smart for Meralco, who's an elite defensive team, to give up their defense to become a Gary-centric offense?
You know what? I actually like what they did.
Oh! See, now you're saying that, but no, it would have been funny. We really did try. I mean, it was something that we wanted to do. I got a call from Jared Dillinger last night saying that he wanted to drop by the show again because he wanted to meet you.
With all the hair.
Yeah, he brought all the hair. And he said that he was going to bring Gary David, but he just texted me right now. He said, hey, son, we can't make it. Got called into the PBA office for something. I don't know.
The Gary David move is a win now move. I mean,
And RG needs to win now.
yeah, they got El Granada for Chris Ross. When last conference, they kind of like playing Mike Cortez more than Chris Ross,
Yes.
because Mike Cortez gave them more offense. Because they had their pass, they really
No, they just
have,
didn't want to play Chris Ross.
because they have trouble scoring points.
I mean, let's just put that out there. I mean,
I still remember Ross going over
But-
14.
But before the Gary D trade, where would you put Meralco as opposed to after the Gary D trade? Now, for me, they are. I think they're a sure playoff team with Gary D.
I mean, now it is Raba, Cliff Hodge, Jared, Gary D, Mike Cortez.
Yeah, and
That's
you
the
have
starting five.
Hugnatan,
pretty solid, huh?
you have Hugnatan, you have Sunday,
Sunday. You don't.
Makapagal.
AJ Mandani.
Oh, yeah.
AJ Mandani.
I think that's
a big
that was
one
the
right there.
steal in the trade.
Yeah, puta, AJ Mandani. In that offense that RG runs, that's gonna be very good for AJ Mandani.
I think, look, I've always been an RG fan.
Yes.
Okay, the fact that he's been taking this team to where he takes them quarters. What was it last year?
Semis.
Quarters, semis.
Yeah.
Last year, they have no business being there. Truth be told, I mean, last conference, his best player was Reynel Hugnatan.
Yes.
From game 1 up until the last game.
With that hair as well.
Yes. So I mean, he's a really, really crafty coach. He's been like the George Carl as
Yeah.
of late of the PBA, in the sense that he doesn't have the best team, but he's an elite coach. And he doesn't get enough credit, but he's an elite coach, and he brings teams better than where they should end up. And now he finally has the tools to, you know what, he's put together a semi-final worthy team. Now, before, he's had crap teams and brought them to the playoffs.
Yes.
Now that he has a semis-worthy team,
Can he make it to the
can
finals?
he make it to the finals? I think that because I think of all the teams, Meralco is the only one that can afford to gamble again on Raba. Because anytime you pick up Raba, it's always a gamble.
Hasn't everyone gambled on
No,
Raba
Alaska
or-
hasn't yet. SMC teams, except for Petron. Petron was the only one that gambled on him. But San Miguel Coffee,
TNT?
TNT has. So San Miguel Coffee,
Ginebra.
Alaska, and no, you can't say Rain or Shine because Yang tried it as well. So those are the only 3 teams that have not, and France in Air 21.
Yeah. I think they can afford to gamble on
Yeah.
Raba because you have Reynel.
Yeah, exactly.
You have Reynel
Exactly.
backing him up, and it's the all-Filipino. Reynel can
But
qualify.
in Talk and Text, you had the best leader ever. You had Jimmy Alapag.
But Jimmy can't play center.
Yeah, but if Jimmy can't set
And Norman
Raba
couldn't.
straight, and Norman couldn't, anong magagawa ni Reynel?
Well, the thing with RG is that he doesn't have to play Raba.
Yeah.
Norman had to play Raba. With all the injuries and all the Gilas players that were not there, he was forced to play Raba. So now, I mean, if ever it happens, for godforsaken reason, RG says, hey, I'll bring back Jason Ballesteros and just to piss off Raba because I don't want to play him.
Ask J.R. Reyes how many
Exactly.
minutes he saw last year.
Exactly. Okay. With that being said, how long before, or what will happen first? Will it be Jared Dillinger cutting his hair or RG? Because RG's hair is getting really weird.
Oh, I hope RG never cuts his hair.
I don't know, man. I was talking to his niece, and she was like, I don't know what he's doing with his hair. She really talks like that.
I hope he never cuts his hair. I hope he
It's
doesn't.
getting puffy.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't. I hope he starts putting slicks it back. Puta, may Michael Douglas potential kasi si ano.
Parang Pat Riley rin.
Pare, may Pat Riley, Michael Douglas potential si si
Pwede.
RG.
Okay yung Pat Riley, pero hindi ko nakita yung
Michael Douglas.
Pare, hayop yung hugot na yun. Pucha.
Kailangan niya pamada, pare. Brill cream. Yung Brill cream yung naka-toothpaste na jar. He needs to put a whole shitload of that. And it's the sides. Coach RG, I went through that problem before. It's the sides that are the problem. Kasi yung taas, okay lang yan.
Tapos
Pero
yung pag may bumagsak na isa.
okay lang, may pagka-Superman effect pa yun eh. Pero yung gilid, kapag gumanon yun, strong techniques, coach. Remember, you always have, this has to be your new move. This has to be your new move.
Pag may foul.
Yun, absolutely. Get Coach Javi Nunag to keep slicking it back at all times.
Crystal ball time. Cliff Hodge, will it be a slump year or will this be a breakout year for Cliff Hodge?
I think what does breakout mean? I mean, I think Cliff Hodge,
Will he be a top
An
3
all-star.
power forward in the league?
a top 3 power forward.
Right now, he's not a top 3 power forward in the league.
He's not, but I think you can count on him for like I think he's gonna average north of 15 PPG consistent
Wow.
all throughout the season. And
Double-double?
No.
What,
Like
15-8?
15-8, 15-7. Because every conference you've seen Cliff Hodge adapt.
Yes.
Like from being a power forward in the first conference last year, he turned himself into a really serviceable small forward
yeah.
who can drain it from the 3. So I think he's experienced enough in terms of switching positions, so he won't struggle anymore. So napagdaanan niya na yun. I think he'll do better in the Philippine Cup compared to the Commissioner and the Governor's Cup. I think Cliff Hodge will continue to improve in this conference.
Okay.
I'm a huge Cliff Hodge fan because in the PBA or a power forward, you really look forward to the All-Filipino. And then you play the Commissioner's Cup upset. Governor's Cup, medyo excited ka ulit. And then hindi mo maintay mag-Filipino because the power forward always gets lost when the imports
Yes.
start arriving. That being said, all throughout last year, he went through a little slump last year, but then we saw towards the end of it, na Cliff Hodge was really the man for Meralco. And who the fuck saw that coming? But I think it's pretty obvious how much faith the coaching staff and his teammates have in him. And I think that Cliff Hodge, you're right. He's one of the best. He's one of the smartest young players out there when it comes to giving what he can give, game in and game out. And I think, you know what? I think he becomes one of the top power forwards this year.
Where does Miracle finish?
Top 4.
Top 4 eliminations or top 4 they're gonna reach the semis?
They're a semis bound team. Yeah,
Okay.
they're gonna reach the semis for me.
I don't think they're a semis team, but I think they improved considerably. But I won't go as far as saying they're better than Rain or Shine, Alaska,
Petron, San Miguel Coffee, and Ginebra.
No, they're a bubble team in terms of quarterfinals to the semis.
Baka makasilat. Ganon.
Yeah.
Depende na lang sa matchup. Okay. All right. Moving on. Let's talk about the Talk and Text Tropang Texters, the reigning Philippine Cup champion team. They recently got Kelly Williams back.
Hey, we're happy for you, Kelly.
I am
happy for
so
you, Kelly.
fucking happy that Kelly is back. I mean, I've always been a big fan of Kelly. One of the nicest guys, really, in the league. I say that a lot, but Kelly really is one of the nicest dudes. And
Kelly's too nice.
yeah.
Because he looks like when he's playing and he's dunking on people and just in general, his game face is like fucking scary. And then he comes up to you, and then I remember it was like my second game I've ever done, and I've never done a talk and text game before. And then he came up to me and called me by name, shook my hand, introduced me to his kids. And I was like, the fuck? Why are you that nice?
And he's fully recovered, according to the report. So hopefully this will be not only good for Talk and Text, but also good for our Philippine team as well. I mean, he could maybe be inserted into that FIBA World Cup lineup just in case somebody goes down. I mean, he's a perfect fit for that system anyway. How does Talk and Text look?
I think they're still one of the best 2 teams in the league.
Wow.
Wow.
I think in the Philippine Cup, they're a 3-time they're the 3-time defending champion. So, I mean, pag Philippine Cup, walang question na they're the most, either the most talented or the second most talented. Depende lang kung nasan yung Petron. But the biggest question is the Junmar test for me.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have anyone who can match up with Junmar. Like, if Talk and Text faces Petron in the semis or in the finals,
they're fucked.
I said that before, and then Petron got fucked.
But with SMC kasi, the best player of that series was Marcus Blakely.
Yes.
Walang pangtapat yung Petron. But this time, SMC has no Marcus Blakely anymore. Walang, I mean, walang pang counter kay, kahit hindi magka-position si Blakely and Junmar, Blakely was so big in that series that kahit paano na-overshadow niya na-overpower niya yung mismatch na dinadala ni Junmar. I think right now Talk and Text is at least the 3rd best team in the league.
Okay.
I can put them at number 1, but that's my biggest question with them is Junmar test.
For those that don't know, the Junmar test is something that we included in the team previews on SlamOnlinePH.com. Head on over there. Check out the team previews that we wrote. It's me, Robbie, and of course Jut that wrote that for you. What do you think of TNT? Is this the conference that they finally bounced back? Because
I don't know.
I mean, they did finally get the rest that they wanted. They ended their conference early. They got rest. They got to go out of the country. I mean, you have Sean Anthony now. Of course, you have Ali Peak, and then you have a healthy Kelly Williams. Arrested Jimmy. Arrested Jason Castro that maybe was able to finally work on his ankles. Fauna is there, Ryan Reyes, Ranidel de Ocampo. Of course, those are the 2 top players on our website. I mean, when we ranked them, it was Jason and Ranidel that were the 2 best players in the entire PBA. Is this finally the one that they come back?
I think with Talk and Text, we always ask, is this the year that it's done?
Yeah.
And like, parang with a whole lot of the great teams before, it's parang the Spurs.
Spurs, yeah.
Every year, it's like, you know what? I think Timmy shuts down this year.
Spurs are what, 6-1, 5-1 this season?
Yep.
Diba?
And I agree completely with the fact that Talk and Text is bringing back the same core that's been excellent for the past few years. I also, on the flip side, look at it and go, apart from Sean Anthony, it's the same guys. It's the same guys who are all north of, what, 32,
Yeah.
33, except maybe Jason, who's the youngest
Yeah.
one there, but his ankles are you know, they're older than
yeah.
they're older than fucking Asitaw Lava.
Yeah.
So I think that Toketex is still gonna be a really, really good team, but I don't think they're as excellent as they used to be in the Philippine Cup.
Crystal ball. Will this be the last run this season? Will this be the last run for Jimmy Alapag?
Ooh, I don't want to see that happen.
Because I don't want to see it happen either. I mean, Jimmy's a friend.
I think he has at least 2 more seasons, 2 to 3 more seasons in the tank.
I think that Jason, see, the thing with Jimmy is, in order for him to extend his career, he has to play limited minutes, and that means Jason has to play more.
Yes.
And that's been the plan for so long, but Jason always gets hurt.
Yes.
Kaya napipilitan ka mag-Jimmy for an extended time. But I really don't want to see that happen. I don't think Jimmy hangs it up after this season. I do think, however, just to fuck with the crystal ball, that this is, and it started with JD leaving already. I think this might be the end of the core as we know it.
Yeah.
I think there's 1 or 2 pieces from that Talk and Text core that they have to move around to get younger, fresher talent in order for them to remain at an elite level.
That's when you're gonna see. Okay, then let's change up that crystal ball one last time. Who is that player that you would trade? That you need to get a quality young core back. Would you trade Ranidel de Ocampo to get those young studs that are in Global Port?
I personally wouldn't. Again,
Yeah.
basing on Slam rank,
Yeah.
I mean, on
That's
PBA
number
rank
2.
on Slam, you don't trade away a top 5
So who would
guy
it
there.
be?
I think Ryan Reyes is on
Yes.
the bubble. I mean, and with all due respect to Ryan,
Yeah.
I say this only because you put Ryan Reyes on most other teams.
And he'll be successful.
He's a star.
Yeah,
Starter.
Ryan's going to be a starter. He's going to be a star. I mean, much like what we saw in nung huling Governor's
Yes.
Cup when the guys weren't there and it was Ryan's team. I mean, Ryan's an excellent guy who has adapted and made himself a team guy. But you put him elsewhere, he's still going to be successful.
Yeah.
And if I'm an opposing GM, I'm looking like, you know what? I get Ryan Reyes. I get a combo guy, 1 and 2, excellent defender, can score from any place on the floor. He's a great leader, has championship potential. Same thing Meralco saw in JD.
Pwede. What about over there? If you had to move one person.
I'd trade Ali Peak. I
You're
think
dead. Oh, you're dead. Ali's gonna fight.
Ali's listening. I just want you to know Ali's listening.
but yes, if I was the TNT GM, I'd trade Ali Peak more than I'd want to trade Ryan Reyes.
Oh, wow.
Because I think.
But could you get as much?
I'd try to get draft picks at least.
Mm.
First round draft picks.
Okay.
I mean, with Air 21, you might be able to get
Yeah.
that.
Like if it's for fuck's sake, like Ali Peak and who's their backup point, who's their other point guard, not Pamboy.
Wala na si Pamboy eh.
Wala na. Probably what, like fucking Jai Reyes? Hell no, France ain't gonna touch that. I mean, France is looking for a point guard. He's not looking for a big man. He already has. He already has.
But
Asi.
for me, the reason why I said Ali Peak, because I think Ali Peak may be among the big men with Kelly. Let's say Kelly will be healthy for the rest of the year. I think they might be able to take Ali Peak leaving them. I mean, Kelly plus Ranidel, I think is good enough for any conference. So I think with Ali can be very serviceable for other teams, and I think you can get like 1 draft pick from another team and like a young project guy to go with that.
Okay. Next up, the Rain or Shine Elasto Painters. This team got a big jolt in their youth. I mean, this team is super strong now, dude. I mean, you look at this team; it's the same thing, and you add Alex Noiles, you add Raymond Almazan, who won the MVP in the NCAA, and Jeric Teng, who's a marketing superpower right now, man. He was dancing on ASAP. This dude was dancing on ASAP.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, you can find that. That does incredible things to your draft stock, dude. I mean, come on. Contract, baby. Contract.
You have someone who dances on ASAP and the host of I Believe.
Oh!
Chris Chu
that's
shows
right.
I Believe.
See?
He hosts it with Heart Evangelista. That's why we watch.
Okay.
Heart is an OG baby boo.
Old school, huh? Oh. All right. How are you going to do?
I think rain or shine will still be rain or shine this year. I mean, when I say that, I mean there's still gonna be a tough team to beat, but I'm not so sure if I'm gonna rank them above the SMCs, the Petrons, and the TNTs. I think it really depends on whether their stars become healthier compared to the last conference. I mean, there are strengths to using like interchanging lineups whenever Yang can, but I think when push comes to shove, I think you really have to bank on your superstars, and that's what really didn't happen to them last year. I mean, I think they lost a lot of fourth quarter battles because minsan si Jeff Chan coming from the Gilas stint wasn't really having a good game, and Paul Lee was injured. I think it's, for me, taking the next step is about their superstars being superstars and being healthy.
I agree when it comes to health. I think that we have to see Paul Lee healthy.
Yes.
I think that's number one on the list for rain or shine right now. A healthy Paul Lee makes his team probably, I mean, they're right up there. Let's face it, in the PBA, I mean, rain or shine is a championship team, but they won it in the Governor's Cup, and it really doesn't count that much. It doesn't count as much as if you win in the All Filipino.
Yes.
And that's what Yang wants. That's the one that evades him. So, I mean, they have as good a chance as ever now. I mean, go through this. Their best five, just off the top of my head, will be Paul, Jeff Chan, Gabe Norwood, Bo Belga, and Raymond Almazan.
Yes.
And then off the bench, you're gonna have Chris Chu,
Alex
Nuiles, Jeric Teng, Jervy Cruz, Jerry Quinahan. You still have Ryan Aranya.
Yes.
And you still have Jair Ibanez.
Yes.
You still have Ronnie Matias.
Yes.
Larry
Rodriguez. That's what? 14 names.
Yeah.
1 to 14. 1 to 14.
Etong rain or shine, ito yung tipong team na pang SBP.
Oo.
Lima per quarter.
Lima per quarter, lalaban pa rin.
Tapos pagdating ng fourth quarter, rambulan na.
You know what? I will say this. Rain or shine is not that dark of a horse to win the championship.
No, I mean, with the pieces that they added to their team, without using trades and being able to keep Bo Belga on this lineup, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Finals or semifinals? Semis are the chance of finals, or what?
I'd put them right there with the SMC and Petron and TNT, but at least the semis.
Yeah, I see them going to the finals.
Wow.
This conference.
This conference.
Wow.
I'm a believer and I'm a fan and I root for developing a team right. I mean, we took up so much time on the show today about how to manage a team, and they develop teams, they develop players, they draft right.
Parang OKC,
They only trade when they really need to, and they do this all with a small market budget.
Yes.
And excellent coaching. So I'm a fan of that. I want to see it succeed.
Crystal ball time. Jeric Teng, will he translate so far in his first year?
I want to say yes because I'm a huge fan. I think Jeric Teng has as big as the balls you see in American meatball spaghetti. Pero I'm not sure kung ganun yung kulay, pero kung merong player from the draft na pang Yengyao team, it's Jeric. I mean, simple pag libre tira, pag hindi pasa.
And
I think
Yang is the professional version of Pido.
Yes. So I think Jeric Teng, I mean, it's all about expectations. What do you expect from Jeric Teng? I think Jeric Teng will be like a nice jolt from the bench. I think you can count on him for like at least 1 3-pointer per game. So like just a microwave option off the bench that will give you like 7.
If like Aranya is not working.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure. Kanina sinabi mo, yung second 5 nila is Nuiles and Jeric Teng.
It would be
But
Aranya.
I think Aranya should be there.
and Jaire.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that Jeric is still behind Aranya in the rotation.
Definitely.
I mean, you're right. He's not going to be a star in the PBA, not in his first few years. Definitely not playing for rain or shine. I think, though, that Alex Nuiles is going to have more of an impact for rain or shine.
Because he's a better defender.
Than Jeric Teng, because he's a better defender.
More athletic.
Yeah.
And more size.
And he can play 2 and 3 a little bit more. But yeah, I think Jeric becomes more of a 3-point shooter, a spot-up 3-point guy. And if he can lock that down, he can laser point that 3, he's going to have a decent year.
Is there any way, yes or no, is there anything that we can do to change the uniforms?
I'm hoping. I'm praying.
Please.
You can't have 18 different colors.
No.
Even if you're a paint company.
Yeah.
You know why? You know why? Because Paulie gave me the jersey that he injured his shoulder with.
Oh, wow, yeah, he didn't want to keep that.
That finals jersey that he wore nung na-injure yung shoulder niya.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to keep it. So he gave it to me. OC ako pag nagbabasket eh. Pag sinusuot ko yun, pag nagsuot ng jersey, gusto ko matching yung sapatos. Pare pag yun yung jersey ko, kahit anong sapatos kunin ko.
Pasok!
Bagay!
Pasok!
Bagay!
Shoot
Lahat,
na shoot.
kahit na ano. 50 yung kulay nun, may apoy sa gilid. Pag tumakbo ka, dumidikit sa'yo yun. Nakadikit. Chok ang hassle.
Ang ginagawa sa trapal, parang.
Ang hassle.
Okay, moving on. We're down to the last 4 teams. The Alaska Aces. This team, not really that much change. They added Ryan Buenafe and Leo Avenido, of course, the former ABL MVP.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he
And
was
the guy was a downright shooter in San Miguel, but now he's with Ryan.
Buena friend.
Buena
Go
friend.
first. How far does Alaska go?
You know what? When I said rain or shine in the semis, I completely forgot about Alaska.
Okay.
I mean, Alaska is right there with rain or shine when it comes to quarters to the semis.
Okay.
I think it's mamili ka lang sa dalawa. Wala akong problema kung sino pumasok sa kanila, but I think Alaska is I think kasi yung other teams they got better.
Yes.
Alaska, I'm not so sure if they added pieces that will make them compete with the Petrons and the SMCs and the TNTs.
I'm gonna go first here. I'm gonna go before you. I'm sorry. I've been thinking about this for quite a while. I think Alaska will not make the playoffs. I'm
Wow.
sorry.
Chaos?
I am
Top 8?
sorry. Yes, I am sorry to Chuck Araneta, all of the Alaska fans out there. It's
That's more shocking than the Buenafe pick.
yeah. If ever they do, it'll be at 8 or 7, and then they'll play against like Petron or Talk and Text, and then they're screwed. This team, I honestly think that this team has been figured out. And the last time that this team was dominant, it was because of Dozier. Last Filipino Cup, they had a hard time as well.
But they were in the semis.
They were in the semis, yeah. But that was with Calvin and Bueva na gulpi de gulat. Now people know, and they can, and the season from last year into now is going to be completely different. I think that they're a bubble team, and they have a chance of not making the playoffs. Because if the way I see it is that you have the 3 Petron, you have the 3 SMC teams, you have the 2 Meralco teams, you have Rain or Shine, you have, I think, Global Port, and then that's when Air 21 and Alaska will fight for that 8th spot. That's how I see it happening.
Wow. I think I'm the media in here, but I have Alaska coming back down to earth as well. I think that you gotta make changes. You gotta make changes.
Yeah.
This is the same reason why I'm not so high on Talk and Text, even though logic says I should be.
Yeah.
It's because with a league so dynamic, that's changing all the time. You have to always find a new option, even if it's just a new guy. You know what? Even if they threw in, and I'm just going wild here, just like a Bonbon Custodio type into that mix. Just someone's just get in there and, like fucking do something. Right. Just to change up their dynamic. But yeah, I think this is going to be a more than trying conference for Alaska, especially because they just got they're coming off of a year where they got their fan base back.
Yeah.
And their fan base is insane again. The expectations are really high.
Yeah.
So
You know
it
what?
might be trying.
Para pangontra lang sa inyong dalawa, I think I'm questioning SMC too when it comes to making your team better. I think they didn't make themselves better as much as Alaska did.
Okay.
I mean, sino lang ba nadagdag? Holstein. And I think that's
Holstein and Melton.
yun yung pang-tapat kay Junmar eh. Pero I think medyo we're having short-term memory here with SMC kasi they did so well in the last conference. But that's with Marcus Blakely.
Yes.
And Marcus Blakely was like a LeBron for them.
It's the same way that I look at Alaska. The last Dozier was the reason why they won that conference. Again, you were saying it kanina, the Governor's Cup and the Commissioner's Cup, it's different from the Philippine Cup. I mean, if you don't have an import that's going to pick up your team, you're going to have a hard time. So, when I look at Alaska and I say, okay, if JV is checked and Calvin, people can know what to expect from Calvin now. The only new person to this lineup that can maybe make a difference is somebody like Ryan Buenafed that I don't know what he's going to do in the PBA. I mean, and his transition to the PBA will be completely different from Calvin because Calvin did it all on rebounding and energy.
Yeah.
Those are two things that Ryan has always suffered from.
But
energy
you know,
and
I
rebounding.
bet on the players of Alaska more when
And
it comes to
and cardio.
their core being more consistent. SMC kasi, I mean, Simon comes and goes. Yap comes and most often goes. Devans comes and goes too.
Okay.
With Alaska, I think Alaska has their core is more consistent.
Okay. So I said my piece. You think that they're gonna make the what, quarters, semis, what?
Yeah, I think they bow out in the quarters, Alaska.
Okay.
And just for the record, once we get to SMC, I'm not too high on them either.
Okay. Then from there, let's head on into SMC.
Well,
What's gonna happen there? Yeah.
Well, let's start with James. He comes and mostly
Yeah.
goes. I don't think San Miguel Coffee is an elite all-Filipino team, even if they have elite all-Filipino talent in Mark Pingres. I think he's their best. Him and Mark Baroka are their best players coming into this conference. Sila yung-
More than James Yap.
more than James Yap.
I put that on the record.
That is on the record.
Sila yung hinog, sila yung kondisyon, sila yung nag-perform ng mabuti all year long last year. I think that, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Ping is the best guy in the PBA at what he does. I think that Mark Baroka is an elite point guard in the PBA. I don't think they have enough. I don't think they have enough to stack up against a loaded Petron without a trump card like Blakely.
Again, it's the Junmar test that
Yes,
gets a
the
lot of
Junmar
teams.
test, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the Junmar test. I think they'll make this.
You don't think they'll make this?
Nah, I don't know if they'll make the semis. Because, I mean, I'm scared of Talk and Text. I'm scared of Petron. I'm scared of Ginebra. I don't know. I think Rain or Shine will take that last four. And they'll make the quarters. And then they're going to have a hard time. It's. I mean, we've been saying it for years now. For the past 3 years, we've been saying that every team has just been getting better. But this is the year that it's legit. Like every single team,
yeah.
Except for maybe, like one or two at the tail end. From 1 to 8, you can honestly say, puta, may chance to.
Yeah, and it's tough because the strong teams got a lot stronger.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think they'll make the quarters.
For me, the difference between making the quarters and the semis is, I think James Yap again. I mean, let's face it, James Yap, in terms of media mileage and marketing power, I think James Yap is still the super duper star in the PBA. But when it comes to playing basketball, I think he's. I think James Yap is not a superstar anymore. And that's what SMC needs. They need.
James, I didn't say it.
I didn't say anything.
They need a consistent superstar to take them from the quarters to the semis this conference.
I need a Vespa
Okay,
discount. I didn't know.
wait.
Basically,
Wait.
I'm saying
Wait. Trade James Yap right now to get a superstar player.
A superstar player.
Do it.
I've said this before. I'd want to trade James Yap for Calvin Abueva just so the SMC fans can appreciate Calvin Abueva, the value of Calvin Abueva. But I mean, are you saying when it comes to playing basketball, is James Yap still the type of player that you still send double teams to?
No.
Not anymore.
It's the same way that I wouldn't send double teams to Kobe right now. I mean, he's on the bench.
That's fucking Kobe. Even if I'm a Laker hater and Kobe comes back, Kobe's Kobe.
Yeah.
But James Yap is James Yap.
Oh,
I mean, Kobe is one of the most competitive players ever and the most consistent players ever. With James Yap, I don't think. I mean, kahit idol nyo si Kobe, I'm not so sure.
Okay. Let's move on.
And let me remind you.
Hindi mo siya tapos! You gave him a way out!
Let me remind you.
Sige, push mo yan!
Nico here said that Baroka and Ping are more valuable than James Yap this conference. So, I mean, pareho lang kami ng sinasabi.
No, I'm just saying that Baroka has upped his game and Ping is coming off of Finals MVP.
Okay, is Baroka a superstar?
Yes.
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 I think Baroka and Malyari combined together, they make a two-headed monster point guard. That makes a superstar. When you say, I think Baroka isn't a superstar yet, so
you're saying that San
and
Miguel has one superstar.
And I completely agree with you that I'm putting Baroka over James Yap. So I'm saying James Yap isn't a superstar. And I agree with you that
I'm not gonna touch it.
I agree with you that Mark Pingris is their best player and their superstar.
All I know at San Coffee is that they have really awesome jerseys. Titan. Okay.
Alaska din.
Alaska din. Okay. Moving on down to our last two teams, Ginebra and Petron. Let's talk about them together since they're pretty much, alike right now. They both have the most. One team has already the most dominant big man in the league.
Other team has a really
big man who wants to be dominant. One team has a really stacked lineup. The other team is starting to look like a really stacked lineup. The only difference is that Ginebra has Mark Aguiwa and Petron has Arwin Santos. Both of them are our last two MVPs in the league. Are these the top two teams in the PBA?
I think so. I'm putting Petron at number 1, and Ginebra or TNT at number 2.
Okay.
But with the size of Ginebra, I think they might be able to beat Talk and Tex because they have a distinct advantage over Talk and Tex with the size with Japet and Greg. My only question with this team is the bench production.
Yes.
I mean, their starting 5 is really solid.
Yeah, right now it's LA, Mark,
Chris Ellis, Mark, Japet and Greg.
Wait, puta, nakalimutan natin. Meralco also has Kirby now. So
yeah.
that's another thing. Okay, never mind.
An added rim protector.
The rim protector
is back. But yeah, I'm concerned with the bench of Ginebra. Barakael has to consistently come in and provide at least 10 points per
I
game.
know where Barakael is consistently. I saw him there again.
Oh shit, really?
Sure.
Again?
Is this a strip club
No,
or
it's not a strip club.
or a gay bar?
No.
So yeah, you have Barakael Monfort who came from Barako, and Ababu. Is Ababu healthy again?
Yes.
So I think if those 3 produce,
Billy Mums.
yeah, you can count on Billy Mums, but you can count on him for good solid defense.
Yeah,
And
they're not as deep as Rain or Shine. Let's give it that. But their starting 5 is a lot stronger than Rain or Shine. It's just
And they run a short rotation anyway.
so as long as their bench is solid, I think they can really compete for the number 2 spot.
yeah.
I think Ginebra's good. I think they're not as good. I think I would say that there's a chance they make it to be the semifinals. The one guy though that I say this entire conference hinges on is Dylan Ababu. I mean, he is their guy. I mean, he is the guy. Remember, Dylan has tied the record for most points in an All-Star game.
Yes.
You could say whatever you want in an All-Star game, but no bum can put up that many points. Dylan, you have to understand, he is an excellent basketball player. Is one of the best scorers when healthy that we have in the PBA. He's got loads of potential and upside. If he's healthy, Ginebra is deadly. If he's not healthy, they don't make the finals.
Petron, on the other hand.
Petron. I really like Petron. I mean, na blatantly lang talaga sila last conference, but I saw them play defense last conference, and I mean their athleticism is Miami Heat like when it comes to playing defense. I mean,
They're the Miami Heat with then you throw in a Junmar Fajardo.
Oh, a Greg Oden
Yeah.
before, diba? I mean, I'm putting if I ever have like 5,000 and I'm gonna bet on the team who wins the championship.
You do have that money.
You
Yes.
do have that money.
That's
Okay,
like-
I'm placing it. I'm gonna bet Petron. Petron will win the All Filipino Cup.
I will completely agree.
Petron's the benchmark. I think at this point, because of Junmar, because of Marcio and Chris Lutz, because we're assuming Alex is healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a serious injury. And then they have Chris Ross now.
Yeah.
If you're not stacking yourself up against Petron and you're a PBA team, you're doing something wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think Petron is like you said the benchmark. I think Junmar will win BPC. Easy as that. There's not going to be anybody that can slow him down. It's Junmar's time.
We're happy to have a team, Chris Ross. We
Yeah.
make fun of
Yeah.
you, but we love you.
Chris,
We're so happy you got
good
a
job.
team now.
You know what? Before you said that, I was saying in my mind, tangina sino backup point guard ng Petron? Pucha, si Chris Ross
wait,
pala.
titignan ko muna. Ay, hindi pa siya na-trade.
I mean,
Kaya nandun pa rin.
You pair up Chris Ross with Marshall Lassiter at the backcourt. That's a nightmare when you're setting up your offense.
Dude, I feel bad for whoever's guarding them and their ankles. They will break all your ankles. Marshall and Chris Ross. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter who it is.
Chris, I'll take all your orange sneakers now.
Yeah, we'll take them. All right, and that'll do it for us here at the Slam Radio PH. That is your PBA Philippine Cup review. We laid it down. Shots were fired. Baby boo. And my shout out a while ago, the Greenies are getting their asses kicked right now.
Are you
Oh,
serious?
Yeah,
wow.
they're getting their asses kicked.
Oh, well.
Oh well, that was fun while it
I
lasted.
just checked my guns. They're completely unloaded.
Oh, nice.
So I feel light.
For Mr. Robbie Raya, you can follow him on Twitter at the real Robbie Raya. For Nico Ramos at Nico RMS. I'm Aaron Ataide at Aaron Ataide. From all of us here at Slam Radio PH. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Kailangan ko na rin ata ng Kevlar eh. Yung para kay Ben Har.